Welcome to the worst of the best podcast. You wanted the best. Well, they didn't freaking make it. So here's what you get. From Canada, Ryan and
Jason. Welcome to another episode of the Worst of the Best podcast. I'm your host, and with me today again is pretty much my co-host. I don't really have an official co-host. Jason, you've taken over that role over the last year of 2022. Did you come on before 2022? I can't remember now.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I did. It's been on and off for...
It's been a busy year.
2020?
It's been a really busy year. And also in 2021, I deployed for like 5 months. So it kind of...
That's right. So I think it was actually maybe even 2020. Right. I did a few, like some music ones.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the show, of course. And this is actually...
No, thank you.
Yeah, this episode, if you can believe it, is actually the Worst of the Best 7th annual Dead Celebrity episode. 7th annual. This is exciting because this is actually one of my favorite episodes, because this is an episode that you and I, throughout the year as celebrities die, we will text each other, so-and-so has passed, and we kind of comment like, this person will make a great addition to our list for the end of the year. I hate to say it, but I get quite excited for these celebrity deaths throughout the year. It's always exciting to see who's died. We let Mother Nature take its course. Also, regarding this year's list, the 7th annual, we're not a very well-oiled machine. You think we'd be better at this after 7 years, but we've decided on this list, truly in the spirit of our show. If you're a first-time listener, what we do on our show is we take the best of, and then we pick the worst from that best, independent of each other. Jason and I do not discuss beforehand our picks of what is the worst, whatever that topic is. Of course, today is the celebrities who have died. Before people add us, because we get hundreds of emails, and we get hundreds of... Speaking of which, I do have an email to read to you, Jay.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Before we get hundreds of emails and comments about who was left off the list, because if you recall, Rolling Stone magazine just recently, Jason, released the 200 best singers of all time. I don't know if you heard about that list.
I heard that. I'm interested to see who they've decided.
Well, we could maybe do an episode of maybe the top 10 or whatever, who they said. However,
sure.
On that list of 200, Celine Dion was not on that list, which is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I've heard very negative reactions to that particular list.
Yeah, and look, Celine Dion is a character of herself, but to say that of 200 singers, she couldn't make that list, I'm very curious to see who beat her.
Have you seen the list?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh.
Okay, but what I'm trying to get at is people are going to say about our list, Jason, because we've curated we've curated our own list of dead celebrities, and people are going to be, how could you guys miss so-and-so? Well, this is all subjective. We've had some past episodes where Jay and I will read dead celebrities, and we'll have to be like, I don't know who that is, or whatever it is, so... Other people, of course, know who other people are. Jason and I, in our life together, have experienced different celebrities for different reasons throughout our journey in life. So there are people that are on the dead celebrity list of other people's top dead celebrities that we don't have on ours. So don't add us saying, why wasn't so-and-so on your list? Okay, so we've curated the names and reasons why people are on this list. So it's a little bit of a tighter list. It's not 100 people. We're reading like 20-odd people. What we do at the end of this list is, how do we pick the worst? Well, there's two that we do for the dead celebrity. We do who we feel is kind of the worst celebrity for whatever reason. Like this person, kind of like, I'm glad they're dead, or I could care less that they're dead. So whichever celebrity's death made us feel, good, bye, see you later. And then which one affected us the worst? Which one was like, oh, that sucks that they're gone. So I think it's a good way of doing that. Did I explain that okay, Jay? Do you think?
Yeah, we pick people that we either will miss or that were kind of indifferent as to why they're not here anymore, or don't care that they have passed.
We got a couple people join us for Discord. Let me just plug it. I think it's going to grow. I think we can get people watching us. Discord, what it is, you can see me and Jason. Our podcast isn't video, so this will never really go on YouTube as a video, maybe just audio. All of our audience listens to this, of course, on their iTunes or Spotify or what have you. So if you're interested in seeing our faces and want to interact with us live as we do these episodes, join our Discord. Discord link is free. Well, like Discord itself is free. It's really easy to join, and you get to see us and interact with us live as we record. And at the end of the episode, you can offer your own choices of what you think is the worst, and we will read that out with your permission. Of course, we'll read out your choices. We'd like to thank those who joined us today on our Discord. For the couple of you that are joining us, spread the word. Spread the word to all the socials. Okay. Well, without further ado, let's go through the list. I am starting. So I'm going to say this name. And Jason, when you saw this name, did you know who it was without reading synopsis?
I guess. I didn't know, but I guessed who it was. And then when I was like, oh, yeah, that is who it is, I understand the backstory to who she is.
Here we go. With our first name on the list, Sacheen Littlefeather. Okay. Sacheen Littlefeather became the mainstay of the 1973 Oscars when the young activist was asked by Marlon Brando to turn down his Best Actor award on his behalf. Now, you can watch this on YouTube. It's quite a visual. So the refusal was an effort to highlight the massacre of Native Americans taking place at Wounded Knee, North Dakota at the time. Littlefeather's refusal speech caused such an immense stir that actor John Wayne had to be held back by 6 security guards to prevent him from assaulting her.
That can't be real.
That is a verified true account.
That's hilarious.
That is a verified. What I think is hilarious is last year we had Will Smith slapping Chris Rock on the stage for telling a joke, like for telling a joke about a balding woman, and then we have Littlefeather saying, "Stop killing Native Americans," and John Wayne's like wanted to slap her.
Cowboy John Wayne, right?
Yeah, he was the cowboy.
He would have been in all those movies that would poorly portray or, yeah.
That's hilarious. Okay. In August, though, of 2022, the Academy extended a long overdue apology to the Indigenous actress for the way she was treated and followed up with an event honoring her in September. Nearly 50 years after the incident occurred, Littlefeather died October 3rd due to breast cancer. She was 75. So rest in peace, Littlefeather. But here's the kicker, Jay.
Yeah. Okay.
I kind of wish.
It's coming back to me now.
That's why she's on the list. If what I'm about to say didn't happen, I probably wouldn't put her on the list, and I certainly wouldn't make fun of her. Littlefeather.
It is an iconic moment in Hollywood.
It is an iconic moment.
Regardless.
Sure. Right. But it's fake news. Littlefeather, I forget her real name, actually. Littlefeather is not her real name. Littlefeather is a name she took on herself. She was raised by like a Mexican. She is Mexican, I think. Look, a better researcher would have researched. All I know is she's not Native American. She usurped that identity, being, somewhat brown-skinned, but she's not Native American. She was raised by a loving family. She wanted to be an actress. She lied about her heritage, inserted her life into Marlon Brando's life. She was actually in film before meeting Marlon Brando. Marlon Brando, to his credit, was actually very much into this, so he was duped by this. It wasn't discovered or unveiled that she was a fake until after her death, when her sister finally says, "I can't take this anymore." Now that she's dead, she spilled all the beans saying, "My sister's a phony. She's a fake. This is who she is. It's all been verified."
What do you call that? Isn't that appropriation? And then what was the female politician that was running for president? The name escapes me, but she did the same.
Something for Louise, you're really thinking about. This is funny. Louise is right about this. She was very pretty. If you go watch that.
Yes. Oh, yeah, she is.
She's quite gorgeous.
Beautiful.
John Wayne apparently had 40 pounds of feces in his stomach when he passed. 40. I can't get this out of my system. Anyways, there you go. Off to a good start here. Sacheen Littlefeather, the fake, the fraud. However, maybe her message was true, but she did culturally appropriate herself for the message. But she lived that lie for years, and she held the Academy accountable for something that she wasn't. Though, yes, killing anyone of any race for any reason is bad. So, yes, the message is still valid, I guess. But, okay. That would be actually a good movie to make. That'd be a fun movie.
Like a biopic type thing? Yeah.
Of her life, someone playing John Wayne being held back. The whole storyline of how she came into Marlon Brando's life and all that stuff. It would be very interesting. I think it'd be a good biopic.
We'll work on that.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so James Caan. So, we all know who he is, the veteran actor. He died the evening of July 6th at the age of 82. Wow.
Yeah, he was older.
He always seemed a bit older because of our age.
In relation to us, yeah.
But 82. The original cause of death wasn't disclosed initially, but the death certificate revealed that he suffered from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, so COPD, congestive heart failure.
Yeah.
His career spanned 6 decades, including the classic films, obviously The Godfather, Misery, and Elf.
Yeah.
It's funny how all these tough guys, as they get older, they start doing these comedies.
I think that is too. Robert De Niro's done it. James Caan did it. just as we get older, you start taking yourself less seriously and life less.
Exactly. Yeah.
You realize,
right.
Maybe we should just have a little bit of fun. I'm actually not in the mafia.
Yeah, I'm not that guy. He also had other roles in TV, including the drama series Las Vegas.
That's right. Yeah, I watched that, actually. I watched that. I even forgot I watched it. Yeah, he was good. And that was a fun little guilty pleasure show back in the early 2000s.
Yeah. And in his career, he was nominated for 4 Golden Globe Awards.
Nice. Yeah, he was great, of course, in The Godfather. Great actor, just a strong actor. Misery was a fun film. Boy, you've seen that, of course, haven't you?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big name. And I think a lot of the names we drew for this list are big names. That's the whole point. We try to get the best of the best deaths that we received this year. Yeah, that was definitely a big actor name. But 82, that's kind of, you can't say gone too soon or...
It's a full life.
It's a full life. And he had a full life. My goodness. Acting, millions of dollars.
Yeah, Hollywood for 60 years. Hollywood, he was in his 20s, right? So...
Nothing to cry about, and he'll be missed, and his movies live on, as cliche as that sounds, but it's true. So yeah, rest in peace, James. Okay, all right, the next one, and the names that we're bringing up doesn't mean we're necessarily fans, but these are people that are big enough that if I read the name, I know them as well. Some of them are things that affected us. Some of them are just like, okay, well, we know who this is just because of their being an icon of who they are, and that of course is Naomi Judd, who's the country icon, who was part of the famous mother-daughter duo, the Judds. She died on May 30th after suffering from mental illness. I believe she committed suicide by gun, Jay. I think she shot herself.
The mother?
Yeah, the mother. She's
really?
Yeah, she, of course, is the mother of Ashley and Wynonna Judd. But my understanding is she blew her brains out. Excuse me. I mean, she, literally by gun. She killed herself with a gun.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, this was announced by a statement from the family. Today, we sisters experienced a tragedy. We lost our beautiful mother to the disease of mental illness. We are shattered. We are navigating profound grief and know that as we loved her, she was loved by her public. We are in unknown territory. The statement, which Ashley also posted on Instagram, did not elaborate further or include the exact cause of death. Now, it's my understanding it was a gunshot wound. An additional statement from Naomi's husband of 32 years, Larry Strickland, reads, Naomi Judd's family requests privacy during this heartbreaking time. A day after their mother's death, Ashley and Wynonna tearfully accepted their mother's honor of being inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. Naomi knew about this induction. This was all happening. This was already...
Of course.
Yeah. And that's part of the story. I hate to say it, is she did this the day before.
Wow. That's a statement.
Yeah.
Sorry, how old was she? I kind of missed that.
She was a little bit. She was 76. I mean...
Oh, 76.
Like our dad's age. Or give or take our dad's age. So
yeah.
So I think it has something to do with that Hall of Fame or something. Because what an odd time to say that's enough. I've had enough. When you're that old, you can kind of just wait it out.
Or decide not to participate in things that are maybe stressful to you, or kind of makes you wonder how much just all the fame and attention haunted her. I don't know. I can't be a psychologist or whatever, but...
No, that's a big name, though. It's a country icon.
That is a huge... Well, here's another country legend, Loretta Lynn.
She also shot herself in the face.
Right. Actually, she passed away peacefully in her sleep on October 4th. She was 90.
Yeah, that's a full life.
She rose to fame in the 60s with hits such as Don't Come Home A-Drinkin'.
With Lovin' on Your Mind.
I don't know any of these songs.
There's people that listen to our show that would know it, though. But yeah.
Okay, yeah.
With Lovin' on Your Mind. I love that title. Don't Come Home A-Drinkin'. With Lovin' on Your Mind.
With Lovin' on Your Mind. You ain't woman enough to take my man.
Oh.
I'm not sure about this last one. Fist City?
I think I saw it.
Is that a typo?
I know. I think it was.
Or is that a real song?
Fist City. I think it's to indicate fighting, but it was also a very popular video.
Oh, her 60-year career was revered by many, with huge country stars such as Reba McEntire, Tim McGraw, Carrie Underwood, all looking to her as a pioneer in the genre. She was beautiful, feisty, and had the spirit that made you want to be better. She was one of the most genuine artists there is. So, what a huge career.
Right.
She passed away peacefully. 90, that's another full life.
Another good full life. So, nice to hear one of those celebrities that just doesn't make waves, does their job, inspires other people, dies old. Can't beat that. In fact, our next person is sort of that same umbrella. Now, I'm going to say the name to you, Jason. Emilio Delgado. Of course, Louise, who's in our chat right now. Did I say that right? Emilio Delgado. This is the Mexican-American actor who played Fix-It shop owner Luis Rodriguez on Sesame Street for 45 years. He died in early March, and he was 81. Now, you and I watched countless hours of Sesame Street as kids, so he was definitely a fixture on our television when we were young. And, of course, my kids, your kids, you remember him, of course, right?
Yeah. Ryan, you're spot on your pronunciation.
Thank you, Luis. Thank you. Yeah.
I find it interesting that they changed his name to Luis Rodriguez. Couldn't they have kept it Emilio Delgado? Yeah. I mean, why would you need to change the person's name?
They had a Latin or Spanish name. We'll give you another Yeah. Why not just call him Emilio? You're right. I mean,
exactly.
You're a Sesame Street actor. It's not like you're going to get swarmed on the street, but
45-year career.
45 years playing with puppets. Yeah. I bet you his mental health was outstanding.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Working on the Sesame Street set, I bet you it's a fun. Like, have you heard of any toxic work environment at the Sesame Street set? What a fun life.
Yeah.
So Delgado was surrounded by family when he died, so that's nice, at his New York home. The star had recently been in hospice care after he was diagnosed with multiple myeloma and blood cancer. Okay.
Oh, you said and blood cancer? It is blood cancer.
Yes, that's right. Multiple myeloma, a blood cancer, yeah. He was 81. It sucks that he had to go out that way. It's not, at least he could be with his family. Not a good way to go, but at least he was older. A beloved member of the Sesame family for over 50 years, his warmth and humor invited children to share a friendship that has echoed through generations.
Do you see Louise's comment regarding the name?
Yeah, Louise says that it could be over the rights to the character. Sesame Street can't own his real name, but the owner created it. Yeah, that's fair, yeah. Good job.
That's good insight. The next on our list is Marvin Lee Aday, better known as Meatloaf.
Yes.
He died on January 21st. He was 74.
Kind of a foolish life.
Well, he lived a full life.
Yeah, he was full, all right. I don't think he was ever not full.
Obviously, we all know who Meatloaf is. I saw him live, Ryan. I'm not sure if you know that.
You did see him live?
Yeah, I worked one of his shows.
Did he sweat?
Oh, he was sweaty. But also very good, even in his older age. He was.
You know what? He's probably a sweetheart. I got the feeling he's a sweetheart in real life.
Well, if he's anything like his character, Bob,
on
Fight Club. Fight Club. What's
funny about that film is he lost a lot of weight before filming the Fight Club. Did you hear about that? And if you could believe, Fight Club came out 24 years ago.
That's amazing. It's an amazing show.
Yeah.
Movie.
And he was fantastic in it. I mean, Meatloaf was a performer, good actor, good singer. I mean, incredible singer, Broadway type. He has these Broadway, very full, kind of crazy songs. Everyone loves them. Let me get back to the Fight Club. In Fight Club, he lost a lot of weight. And of course, his character was supposed to be fat. And he had, the woman-like chest. That was his character. But he wore a fat suit. Ironically, Meatloaf wore a fat suit in Fight Club. And he was really disheartened by it. He really wanted the role and he wanted to do it, but he was kind of disheartened because he knew the public would have thought he was big because he's been big, but he lost a lot of weight that he was actually wearing a fat suit in Fight Club.
Did he lose the weight thinking that they didn't want him to have weight? I'm going to be in front of a camera.
I think it was just he was losing weight in his life and then he got the role.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right.
I love how his name is Meatloaf. It's just fantastic. He embraced being Meatloaf. Yeah.
What an interesting name to pick, though. Meatloaf. His career was 60 years.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
He was in over 65 movies.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wayne's World, Rocky Horror Picture Show, which to this day I still haven't seen.
Yeah. So Bat Out of Hell is still one of the top 10 selling albums of all time.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. That's a legacy. Think about how many albums are out there to be in the top 10. That's amazing.
Speaking of Meatloaf, who do you have next?
Well, this next comedian, he was actually going to name himself Meatloaf, but it was already taken. That was Louis Anderson. So Louis Anderson died a little bit younger. He was 68. Shortly after it was announced that he was being treated in a Las Vegas hospital for diffuse large B-cell lymphoma, another aggressive blood cancer. He died January 21st, which is actually the same day that Meatloaf died.
Wow.
Scientists actually revealed on that day that the Earth was lighter. Both Louis and Meatloaf died on the same day. The star's first appearance as a stand-up comedian was on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson in 1984. And I've
seen that clip.
Yeah. It immediately catapulted him to fame. The power of Johnny back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, with comedians in particular, if Johnny liked you, he would call you over to the couch. So if he liked your stand-up, he would call you over to the couch. And that was the big nod to the world that you were somebody.
Did Louis get called over to the couch?
No, they didn't have one big enough. I don't know. I would assume so.
I've never been a fan of his. I've never found him funny.
He had memorable. No, he's not fun. Look, but he did have memorable appearances in movies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Coming to America. He was kind of funny in Coming to America. I don't know if you've seen that. In the 90s and 2000s, he was known for his TV work. He was on that animated show Life with Louie that he did for a bit. And, of course, he was the host of Family Feud.
Which didn't help me want to like him more. I thought him so cringy.
Rumor has it that he took the hosting role for Family Feud. He thought it was family food.
He thought it was a cooking show?
Yeah. He thought he'd be participating on a cooking show. He did win an Emmy, though, Jason, later in his life on the show Baskets, where he played a cross-dressing mother or something to Zach Galifianakis' character or something like that, I think. I never watched it, but my understanding is he was quite good in that and he received an Emmy for that performance later in his career. So rest in peace, Louis. Yeah, I never laughed at his jokes. I didn't go,
No.
I
mean, but it is somebody that we know who was a celebrity.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like, yeah. I wasn't happy that he died. I was just, oh, wow, okay. And 68, that
is youngish.
You could easily live another 20 years, but I mean, obviously, it goes without saying, an unhealthy lifestyle led to his early demise, yeah. Okay, you got the next one there, Jay.
So, Michael Lang.
Now, if you heard that name, people in our chat or people that are listening, of course, when you hear that name, people are like, who, right? But this is a big person.
Yeah, I would not have known, but his claim to fame is he was one of the co-creators and organizers of Woodstock. And we all have heard of Woodstock, obviously.
Yeah.
He died January 8th, another person who passed due to cancer. He was 77. So that's interesting. That's, when was Woodstock? He must have been very young, in 20s?
He was 69. So, yeah, he was young when he organized it. Yeah, if you think about it, he was in his 20s.
If you want to say Woodstock was properly organized, I mean, that became a monster of itself.
Right. It is a fascinating story of history.
Yeah. So his cancer was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Yeah. I mean, he was just a concert promoter and
watch the Woodstock documentary. Of course, he's in that quite a bit, obviously, and as the organizer. And he was also organized and helped organize the Woodstock 94 and 99. Have you watched the documentaries on those on Netflix?
I haven't.
It's insane, man. We were obviously very much around. Like
of course.
I was 19 and 24 at those respective dates, and you would have been 21 and 26. So we were very much aware and watched those. But even when we were heard about things, we got inkling of things. This is before social media, before cell phones and all that stuff. Like, you can imagine if cell phones around those days with that event, how much footage we'd have, really. Just like people's like personal, like POV type footage of stuff. Because, yeah, watch those documentaries you haven't. It was a fascinating disasters. Scary stuff.
All three of them were fascinating disasters.
Yeah.
But that's what makes them historical. And that's why we keep talking about it. And that's why he made our list.
Of course, if I say the name Coolio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We were all in shock when Coolio's manager announced that the rapper had suddenly died on September 28th. He was born Artist Leon Ivy Jr. The Gangsta's Paradise rapper was found collapsed on the floor of a friend's bathroom. The friend called for help. And once paramedics arrived, they declared Coolio dead at the scene. He was 59.
That's young.
That's fairly young. Apparently, authorities asked the paramedics at the scene, how do you know he's dead? And they're like, his body is Coolio. With a career that spanned decades, Coolio's friends and collaborators took to social media to pay their tributes. Michelle Pfeiffer, as you recall, who was in the lead video for Gangsta's Paradise, the first track off the Dangerous Minds soundtrack, was among the first to pay her respects. Ice Cube had this to say, "This is sad news." Ice Cube reported on Coolio. Ice-T was right behind there. All right, this is sad news. I witnessed firsthand this man's grind to the top of the industry. Rest in peace, Coolio. 59, I don't know the exact cause of death, but dead on the bathroom floor. Come on. It probably wasn't from brushing his teeth too hard.
It's probably a heart attack, I would suspect.
Yeah.
This next person on our list is somebody we had spoken about in our previous podcast that we recorded.
Episode. So if you haven't heard it yet, folks, go check out, what was it called again? Oh, yeah, the top things that were Googled in 2022. It's a fun episode. But Anne Heche was brought up, of course, because she was heavily Googled. Go ahead there, Jay. Sorry.
Yeah, well, no, on August 5th, she crashed her car into a house, though she was in critical condition. So they found her, pulled her out of the car. She was in critical condition. She was alive from the car wreck. She did regain consciousness, but a week after the accident, she was...
this is from the news source. So this is where the conspiracy theory is. So
she
was declared in critical condition on site, and was initially deemed stable but never regained consciousness, which isn't true. We have video footage of her pouncing out of her body bag on video, going to the ambulance. Remember that? Then it wasn't until a week later that she was declared legally dead. It's so weird.
So that would have been a roller coaster.
Yeah,
for the family. Yeah, so she passed 6 days or so after the accident. We knew her more from her in the 80s and 90s. I haven't heard of her other than I just know who she is in the last few years. So she was in movies like I Know What You Did Last Summer, 6 Days, 7 Nights, Psycho.
She's a very attractive woman in her prime.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. And then she became a podcaster after listening to your podcasts. She's like, I can do that.
Ryan can do that. I can do that. Yeah, rest in peace, Anne Hesh. I don't know how to pronounce it. Anne Hesh, Anne Hesh. I've heard it both ways. Okay. All right, Aaron Carter. We've all heard of him. He's the former child star. He was found dead in his home at the age of 34. The I Want Candy singer was discovered by a house sitter in his bathtub. Though there were prescription pills and drug paraphernalia in his bedroom, the official cause of death wasn't revealed. Okay, well, yeah. Nick Carter, his older brother, said this: "My heart was broken today. Even though my brother and I have had a complicated relationship, my love for him has never ever faded. I've always held on to the hope that he would someday walk a healthy path and eventually find the help that he so desperately needed." Ex-girlfriend Hilary Duff also paid her respects to the late singer, writing, "I am deeply sorry that life was so hard and that you had to struggle in front of the whole world. You had a charm. Boy, did my teenage self love you deeply. Sending love to your family at this time. Rest easy."
There's some weird stuff about his death, too. I think he was really outspoken against maybe the exploitation of younger actors and actresses and kids in the...
Was he against child exploitation? Was he another one that might have been killed because of that? Like Chris Cornell and...
I'm not sure so much about that, but just the way that industry takes advantage of children. Yeah, Chester, like Chris Cornell.
Both of them were investigating child pornography stuff.
Apparently doing something together. Okay, so somebody's making a comment there, Ryan.
Dan said that Aaron Carter was super famous in the early 2000s. He was 11 years old selling millions of albums. The industry definitely made bank off him. So at the very least, I suspect as a kid in the industry, man, people are creepy, man. If you had a kid in the industry, I would watch them like a freaking... I would have let my kid alone with any of these guys.
Yes, there's predatory behaviors.
Yes, let's be honest.
But it's also just we take advantage of selling you. And then when you aren't sellable anymore, you're discarded. It's got to be a roller coaster emotionally, mentally, taxing on you. Like you have to be perfect every single time you go out on the street and navigate all these issues of growing up in the spotlight. It doesn't seem like it'll be a problem, but obviously it is because we see so many of these people end up in the same condition that he found himself in the bathtub dead at a young age.
Another bathtub death. So weird.
Yeah. So here's somebody we all know and somebody that I loved watching on the big screen is Ray Liotta, famously from the Goodfellas. He died in his sleep in the Dominican Republic on May 26th. He was 67.
Yeah.
There's no foul play suspected in his death. His fiancée was with him when he passed. What are some of your feelings about Ray Liotta? I mean, what a powerhouse!
Oh, I love
on the big screen. Like he was
the way he talks, the way he always seems like he's coked up.
His eyes. Every time you look at the screen, you're like, "Holy, this guy's gonna kill
intense.
me." Yeah, he's so intense.
He's got those baby blue eyes or something. I don't know, some those glassy eyes or whatever. But he always looked like he was coked up. I don't know if he's always amped up.
So
great in Copland, of course. Goodfellas.
That's my favorite. That one scene in Copland when I saw him.
Don't shut me out, Ray. Don't shut me out.
Yeah. So when I saw that movie in the theater, Ryan, he had that tirade of F-bombs.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, is he acting? Yeah. This literally looks like he's real. This is real. That's such an intense. He was awesome in that movie.
Yeah, great in that movie. Of course, Goodfellas, TV work. Another show that's underrated, maybe even underseen, Narc. Check out the show Narc movie. That's a great one. Rest in peace, Ray.
Yeah.
Now, if I say the name Robbie Coltrane, does that ring a bell for you?
Coltrane sounds like that jazz, but Robbie Coltrane, no.
Okay, well, he played Hagrid in the Harry Potter films.
Yeah. Okay, I know who he is.
So this is I'm not a Robbie Coltrane fan per se, but definitely Hagrid, the character in those 8 films.
Yeah,
that's a huge loss to the children who grew up with this character. Now he was 72. The cause of death was not initially revealed. It was reported, though, that the beloved actor had been in ill health for a couple of years before his death.
My son, Austin, my oldest, who was young.
Oh, yeah.
He read all the Harry Potter books and stuff in his early childhood. And he posted the death of Robbie Coltrane. And I'm like, oh, what's going on with this guy? And then he explained that he was sick for quite a few years. Yeah. Kids who grew up with Harry Potter, they know who he is. And, it's somebody. It'd be like Obi-Wan Kenobi dying. The guy's name might not jump out at you, but if you're familiar with
Alec Guinness, but they know who the actor. Yeah. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, this is a big loss to, of course, fans of the franchise, and also, of course, the people that worked with him on the film. So immediately after the shocking news was announced, longtime colleague Daniel Radcliffe, who played Harry, released a statement saying Coltrane was simply one of the funniest people he's ever worked with. I've especially fond memories of him keeping our spirits up on the third film when we were all hiding from the torrential rain for hours in Hagrid's hut. And he was telling stories and cracking jokes to keep morale up. He was an incredible actor and a lovely man.
Yeah.
He was a great job playing that character. I mean, just, how some people find a role that that's their role, and that's his. He owned it. He did an amazing job. And I think everyone that reads the books, and I've read the books too, after I saw the films, and I saw his character. Like, it was his portrayal that I read in the books. I think a lot of people could probably say that.
Yeah, fair enough. Olivia Newton-John. Mm-hmm. But she died... It feels young, but she's always 73.
She was 73, but she's always looked fantastic. She took care of herself. But breast cancer, oof, man.
Yeah, breast cancer, and she passed away peacefully in her California home with family and friends.
That's the way to do it, in your home with family and friends. I mean,
yeah.
She had breast cancer in 2017, so it was a battle, 5 years. Ooh.
Well, she had breast cancer, and then it spread or metastasized to the sacrum. But that was in May 2017. So she had breast cancer metastasized by May 2017. That's quite a few years later that she had been fighting, as they say, the good fight.
She was able to see her daughter get married just before she died. She said here, I don't think I imagined living this long. I feel very blessed. And she passed away shortly thereafter. Oof.
She was able to attend the 40th anniversary screening of Grease. Yeah. Is that basically her biggest role, Grease?
Yeah, but she also did the Let's Get Physical.
Oh, right.
I mean, so she has some big hits. I mean, she's done lots. I mean, people that are Olivia Newton-John might be insulted. But I mean, for guys like me and you, we're, a couple of middle-aged men. Past middle-aged now. But the point is, we know her from Grease and those songs. But definitely she's left a legacy. Again, if you're known for one thing, that's fine. I mean, Grease is huge. It's going to live on forever.
Of course, yeah.
Sidney Poitier, legendary actor. He was 94. He was the first black man to win the Best Actor Oscar, by the way. Yeah, 94. That's just a full life. He was born in Miami. He was raised in the Bahamas. He on a rural farm with no electricity or running water. Then he moved to Harlem. He was a dishwasher. He went on to serve in the army before joining the American Negro Theater. I wonder if that's still around. Where he traded janitorial services for dramatic arts training. His career began on Broadway. His breakthrough big screen role was as Dr. Brooks in the 1950s racial drama No Way Out. He went on to star in countless films, earning prestigious awards and accolades, including the Best Actor Academy Award for his turn in Lilies of the Field. Other iconic films include To Sir With Love and The Heat of the Night, and Guess Who's Coming for Dinner. I thought he won it for that movie, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. I guess I was wrong. Which continued to interrogate themes of race and class. Outside of his acting part, he received those same issues off-screen as an active participant in the Civil Rights Movement. He later served as the ambassador of the Bahamas to Japan from 1997 to 2007. So this guy lived a full life. I mean, he put money where his mouth is, right?
I'd like to know, how old was he in that first movie?
Well, it was 1950s, let's say, and he died 70. He would have been 20-something.
Wow, he lived a full life by the time he was in his first movie.
Yeah, good point.
There were a lot of steps before he was even in his first movie. Like that's phenomenal. And then obviously a long, illustrious career.
What I love, too, is that this is a guy that was not, got into Hollywood through nepotism. Like, think about it. He was a black actor back then. Yeah, we had racial things figured out. I mean, he was acting when they still had separate fountains.
Right. True trailblazer.
Yeah. And so he gets into the business during those times, right? And then in these roles that address racial issues back in the days where people still had, being a racist was not, you weren't canceled back then for being a racist. I love how he cleaned the theater and his payment was dramatic arts training. This guy literally worked his way. He was a worker.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him.
The next is Angela Lansbury. I really only know her because of her role, and her biggest role, most people would, is Murder, She Wrote, which was an enjoyable TV show. Did you ever watch it, Ryan?
Oh, yeah. I think Mom and Dad watched it, so I would see it.
I mean, it's not something I would sit down and watch every...
the typewriter.
Yeah.
She's one of those people, like, she's always been old.
Yeah. Well, she was 96 when she passed.
Yeah, full.
And she was only a few days before her 97th birthday.
Wow.
So she almost made 97 years. That's just couldn't quite do it, eh?
Yeah. Imagine if she got murdered.
7 decades in the acting career.
Yeah.
She voiced Miss Potts in Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Oh, yeah, of course. That's right.
Generations of kids know that voice, too, for sure.
Yeah. Most of us know her from Murder, She Wrote.
Yeah.
Somehow a long-standing career, but really mostly known just by that one role.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I was known by something. It won't be this podcast. All right. We talked about this again on our last episode on Googleable thing. Things that were Googled. Bob Saget. Of course, he was the stand-up comedian and actor famous for his roles in Full House, How I Met Your Mother, America's Funniest Home Videos. He died January 9th at the age of 65. The comedian was found dead in his hotel room at the Ritz-Carlton in Orlando, following a performance the night before. Following the news of his death, the late Full House stars family released a statement. Quote, "We are devastated to confirm that our beloved Bob passed away today. He was everything to us, and we want you to know how much he loved his fans, performing live and bringing people from all walks of life together with laughter. Though we ask for privacy at this time, we invite you to join us in remembering the love and laughter that Bob brought to the world." He leaves behind wife Kelly Rizzo, 3 daughters Aubrey, Laura, and Jennifer. Google on your own, but his passing in his hotel room is very odd. Apparently there was some trauma to his head. Very odd.
Did he have a heart attack and fall over? And hit his head, like the trauma could have been after?
I don't know. And there's some, the vaccination talk come up on this as well, because, it's just, Google it on your own, go down your own rabbit holes, but it wasn't suicide, it wasn't drugs, he didn't do that stuff, he just, you could say his heart just stopped at 60-something, sure, that's possible, but...
How come celebrities either, they pass away under a cloak of, like, confusion,
I don't know,
or it's peacefully around family and friends? It's like there's no, I don't know. I guess there's only a couple ways to die, really, at the end of the day. But there always seems to be some type of cloak of mystery or questions, unanswered questions. So here we go. Here's somebody the whole world will know who it is. Queen Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth II on September 8th. So she was the longest reigning British monarch.
And that'll never
be
duplicated.
No. And she was 94.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure what else to say other than 94, old age, and we all know who she is.
Ryan and Jason are going to share some news you've never heard of. Right. Prince William said in the statement, though, "On Thursday, the world lost an extraordinary leader whose commitment to the country, the realms, and the Commonwealth was absolute. I, however, have lost a grandmother. And while I will grieve her loss, I also feel incredibly grateful. I have had the benefit of the Queen's wisdom and reassurance into my 5th decade." What do you think of that Harry book that just came out?
I just saw a headline. I don't know anything about it. I just saw a headline literally yesterday about it. Like, he did the Netflix? Is this the same dude?
They did the
Netflix. He did the Netflix, and now he has a book?
Yeah. And apparently the book is... See, the Netflix was pretty... I think it was pretty evenly said. Like, I watched the Netflix series. Yeah. It was actually, like I said in the previous episode, it was pretty well-rounded. But it seems like he kind of calls out his family a little bit harshly in the book compared to the Netflix series.
Yeah. Well, he's desperate to do something.
Well, he's hurt. I guess you could just argue he's hurt, but I love how the royal experts have come out and said that it's all false. But to me, there's got to be... Like, I get it. But why would I write a book about you guys, like my brothers, my parents, and just say lies? Like, I don't know how far that would go. Is it really just all lies? Everything that's negative is a lie? Can we honestly say that that's the case? Like, everything negative is a lie? I don't know if that works that way.
Yeah.
If Harry says that his family is amazing, would the royal experts say that was a lie? Or is it because it's not very friendly to the family, it's a lie?
And we all have our own personal truth, as they say. Like, if my experiences or my response or feelings about an event, I mean, that's how I view it. Yeah. That's how I view it. I mean, I can't imagine him wanting to lie constantly and consistently. I'm not sure what that would benefit anybody either.
If I say this name, you're going to be like, what? Who? Huh? What? Well, this is an interesting one. This is Grant Wahl. Now you're like, who the heck is that? Well, this is another, put your conspiracy hat on, folks, a little bit. Soccer journalist Grant Wahl collapsed while attending the Argentina versus Netherlands match during the FIFA World Cup in Qatar on December 10th. He was only 48. Though the cause of death was initially unknown, his brother Eric suspected foul play. Because while in Qatar, Grant had extensively covered the issue of migrant deaths at the FIFA World Cup, and earlier in the tournament was detained for wearing a rainbow shirt into a match. This is from the brother. My name is Eric Wahl. I live in Seattle, Washington. I am Grant's brother. I am gay. I am the reason he wore the rainbow shirt to the World Cup. My brother was healthy. He told me he had received death threats. I do not believe my brother just died. I believe he was killed, and I just beg for any help. Several days later, it was revealed the award-winning journalist suffered from an erotic aneurysm. Quote, Grant died from the rupture of a slowly growing, undetected, ascending aneurysm with hemopericardium.
It's pronounced aortic.
Thank you. Grant's wife, Dr. Celine Gounder, wrote on his Substack, okay, the chest pressure he experienced shortly before his death may have represented the initial symptoms. No amount of CPR shocks would have saved him. She clarified his death was unrelated to COVID. His death was unrelated to vaccination status. There was nothing nefarious about his death, end quote. There you go. The wife has spoken. Yeah. He looked like a healthy guy. You saw him. Young, thin, healthy. He's only a year old.
That's the thing, though, with these heart conditions. I mean, you either know you have an issue or you don't.
It's true, right? There are billions of people in the world. It could have just been unfortunate timing that he's in Qatar.
And heart disease is like the number one killer in the world of all. Yeah.
I was going to say the brother did feel how he felt. It doesn't mean he's right, but
it is an odd coincidence that the country that he's in and the things that he was promoting and showing support for are complete conflict with each other. So Kirstie Alley, we all know her from Cheers. That's what I grew up with, knowing her, but I didn't really follow her. I mean, you just knew her. She was always in the public eye. Cheers is the main thing, but she succumbed to colon cancer December 5th, 71. As time goes on, you start losing track of your own age and where you are in the whole cycle of life. And then you go like, wow, she was 71, but it makes sense. I mean, I always just visualize her as in Cheers.
See her as, the Cheers character and the raspy voice Cheers character. She obviously struggled with weight and stuff, but when she was this, everyone has their own flavors. I'm saying she was a very attractive woman, had she just was able to maintain, but she, not to say embraced it, but she did roles later in life that would talk about the issue of being bigger. She had a show called Fat Actress, for example. Yeah, on HBO or something like that. So it's just, I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to be misogynistic, but she was a talent.
She died with family and friends as well, which is nice.
Scientologist, I think people forget that.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
So she's wrestling with Xenu. Xenu, is that his name?
I don't know enough.
We gotta be careful. I don't want the people Scientology to come after us. All right. Pele. It's one of those guys where if you told me Pele died 10 years ago, I would have been like, oh yeah, I knew that.
Yeah.
Or if you had to guess, like, is Pele alive or dead, like over under, what would you have said a month ago?
I would think he was dead.
Yeah.
But I couldn't verify that. I wouldn't know when he would have passed.
That's right. So he was the Brazilian soccer legend Pele. He died December 29th. Coming in late, but he still made the count. He was a 3-time World Cup champion. And he'd been undergoing treatment for colon cancer in September of 21. He had the tumor removed from his large intestine. He died about a year later. Quote, inspiration and love marked the journey of King Pele, who peacefully passed away today. On his journey, this is from his Instagram, on his journey, Edson enchanted the world with his genius in sport, stopped a war, carried out social works all over the world, and spread what he most believed to be the cure for all of our problems, love. His message today becomes a legacy for future generations. Love, love, and love forever. He's survived by 6 children and his wife, Marcia. Yeah, good for him. Of course, as a Stallone fan that I am, his great role in the movie Victory. Pele, rest in peace, brother. 82, 3-time World Cup champion. Who's going to do that again?
That's a tough one. Completely well-loved around the world. Yeah. I mean, his charity work and everything else. Yeah. So we are down to is this the last one?
Second last
Pope?
one.
Oh, that's right. Save the best for last.
Save the best for last.
So Pope Benedict, do you know what this number is? XVI or 1?
The 16th.
Pope Benedict the 16th. He served as a pope from 2005 until 2013. he stepped down from his position due to health reasons, becoming the first pope to resign from his position since Gregory in 1415. So he died at the age of 95 on December 31st. He was desperate to make our list.
Yeah, he was like, you know what? I want to make this list. So rest in peace to the Pope. Obviously, the Catholic Church is, my understanding, is the biggest religion in the world, next to maybe, like, at least Christian religion in the world, the Catholicism. Yeah, I mean, huge influence in the world. Now, what's interesting about him is why he's on the list, though, is that he stepped down. Usually the Pope doesn't do that. Usually they serve until death. But he actually said, I can't do this. My health is preventing me from doing the role adequately enough to do the role. I actually appreciate the fact that he recognized that he couldn't do it and to give it to somebody that could do it. There are leaders in the world today, I wish, whether they're religious or political, that should step down if they're not able to do it. Whatever your role is, maybe let younger people take over. It's okay to say, you know what? I can't drive my car anymore. I'm a risk. Let somebody else drive.
Right.
Rest in peace to the Pope. Lastly, this is why Jason and I don't record these episodes until January anymore. Past seasons, or we've made the mistake of like, let's record December 24th or the 23rd or even the 27th or something. Who's going to die? Who of note will die in the last 3 days? Well, last year it was Betty White on the 31st. Well, another lovely old lady did the same thing to us this year. December 30th, Barbara Walters. Jason, she was 93.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Legendary broadcaster. She broke barriers for women in the news as the first female co-host of the Today Show. She created The View, which is horrible. Of course, tributes poured from most celebrities and journalists alike, recognizing Walters for her trailblazing nature and contributions to culture. You know what I love about her? You ever watch Remember Saturday Night Live? Who was it that did that impersonation of her all the time?
Oh, Cherry. Is it Cherry O'Terry?
Yeah, Sherry O'Terry.
Sherry O'Terry.
Walters.
Yeah, I know. She was very good at that.
She was awesome at that.
I prefer that character than to Barbara Walters herself.
Sure. She did create The View, which makes me almost want to pick her for worst celebrity, leaving us that legacy that will never go away. The View has created a platform for Whoopi Goldberg to talk every day. It's just a horrible. Why do we have to hear what Whoopi has? Think about it. We live in a world, Jason, that Whoopi has a voice.
It's bizarre.
Look how many blankets I'm under today, folks. Okay. So we're going to pick our worst, again, who we think is the worst offender as a celebrity and who was the one that affected us the worst. Sachin Littlefeather, James Caan, Naomi Judd, Loretta Lynn, Emilio Delgado, Meatloaf, Louis Anderson, Michael Lang, Coolio, Anne Hesh, Aaron Carter, Ray Liotta, Robbie Coltrane, Olivia Newton-John, Sidney Poitier, Angela Lansbury, Bob Saget, Queen Elizabeth, Grant Wall, Kirstie Alley, Pele, the Pope, and Barbara Walters. Jason, which one was the one that you were saddest to say goodbye to in 2022? And while we're thinking of our guests as people in our chat, if you want, the guys that hung out with us for this whole episode, you can let us know your picks too for the one that you'll miss the most and the one you're going to miss the least, I guess you could say.
Maybe kind of like on a personal level. Like I feel like Ray Liotta, maybe it's a little bit too soon. I would like to see more things from him. But I think a standout, though, really is Poitier.
Sidney Poitier?
Like that's an impressive...
Interesting pick. Okay.
Legend. He lived sounds like, I don't know him, but from the list, sounds like he lived a very decent, trailblazing life. I think he might be a good character. But as a personal favorite of mine is Ray Liotta. That felt really too soon for me. Guess I'll pick Ray Liotta.
You're a fan of his and to see him.
Yeah, and he was still like...
out of nowhere, yeah.
It came out of nowhere. Yeah. Ray Liotta. The one that I am most indifferent to is Barbara Walters.
Oh, wow. Sure, that's fair.
Not a fan.
That's fair. You and I might be on the same page with all that. I kind of had a toss-up with Sachin Littlefeather, but I almost have to give her credit for fooling everybody. It's almost impressive to hold on to that, duping the world the way she did for so long, for 50 years. I agree with Ray Liotta, but I think a close second or even a tie would be the Bob Saget, another kind of young death, very vibrant, going on the road, still being gone too soon in the entertainment world of what they do, of just comedian or actor. They had years ahead of them still.
But I've never been a fan of Bob Saget.
No, I've never been a fan in the sense like I have to see what Bob does. I get the attraction and I get why people like it. And he's a comedian as well. And I've seen him like with Norm Macdonald, when they were obviously both alive on shows together, and they're quite funny. I'm always partial to the comedian world, and it's sad to see him go. But yes, Ray Liotta is a celebrity that I've enjoyed much more over the years than I have with Bob. But that was kind of a shock one. That was a very much of a shock one too. Barbara Walters, there's something about her. I understand she's a trailblazer in journalism, but she comes off across. You know what I liked about Larry King? Larry King never came across as someone who knew better than everybody.
Right. Yeah, she's a very holier than thou personality.
Like Larry was a great interviewer. He'd ask great questions. He would also laugh at himself. I don't know if Barbara did necessarily.
Nope.
I compare the two because they're both kind of the same generation of people. But Barbara, it seems like she's always right. She's always right in the room. So when she's interviewing people of a lower status or questionable personality, it's almost, Barbara, you've never done anything wrong. It must be nice to be able to interview everyone from a place of deity.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about her. It's kind of like, oh.
That's how I feel about her too. I've never appreciated her tone towards people that, that they might not mix outside of the entertainment world. And like, it just, not a fan of her tone.
No, maybe we're wrong. But again, they're public figures, and that's what I got publicly from those figures. Okay. From Dan, he said that he's most sad about Ray Liotta as well. And of course, Louis said the same thing. Liotta seemed like he still had some good work left in him.
I agree with that. He did. I felt like it was too soon. I mean,
Dan went on to say that he's not sad about anyone dying in their 90s, especially when they've lived a life being rich and famous. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. That's a fair comment for sure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for those who joined our 7th annual Dead Celebrities episode. This is a highlight for myself to record every year. I'm looking forward to next year. Already, we've had a couple deaths this year. I forget who they were, but there was a couple that already happened in January. I'm like, this is great. We're off to a good start. I think I sent it to you in the link, but I can't remember the name now. And even when we do the list at the end of the year, I'm like, oh yeah, Louis was this year. Like, it seems like 5 years ago sometimes when you see some of these names. It seems like it was 5 years ago, some of these names. Like, if you told me Meatloaf died 5 years ago, I would have been like, oh yeah. I forget it was this year or this past year. It's odd. Thanks for hanging out with us again. If you want to join us live in Discord, you'll get to be part of what Dan and Louise were. You get to offer your picks at the end of the episode and become part of the show, as they say. All right, guys. Thanks, Dan, for hanging out. Dan's a great guy. He has his own YouTube channel. He does retro video games on YouTube. Yeah. He does like Sega stuff and things like that. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with Dan. Thanks, guys. We're hoping more people show up. I mean, we just started doing this Discord thing like on this.
Appreciate doing this. I gotta get better at Discord. It's a brand new technology to me. This is the only reason I have it. And so every time I come back on it, like we do our podcast every like 2 weeks or so, it's like completely brand new to me. I'm like, where are all the little settings and stuff? So I need to learn this a little bit better. But I appreciate the people that do follow us and join us for the conversation. I like the interaction.
All right, Jay, have a good day.
Are you gonna read me that email? Did you say that there was an email that you're going to share?
Yeah, before we close, Jason, thanks for the reminder. There was an email.
It doesn't happen often, so I'm not surprised you didn't remember.
We never get emails. Yeah, this is an email from my co-host of the Rocky Podcast, Katie. So Katie said this, "Hey guys, I listened to a fair number of episodes while cleaning. I wanted to reach out and let you know that I find your coverage a welcome departure from my usual playlists. You fill a void in the podcasting world. Plus, there's a little something for everyone. The sibling rivalry one was way different than I thought it was going to be.
Yes, I agree with that too, even for myself.
But entertaining nonetheless. Yes, I am a true crime podcast listener, so I'm dark, I guess. See, I told you it's females, man. Females listen to that stuff, the true crime stuff. If you're listening to this email and you haven't checked out our sibling rivalry episode, it's basically a true crime episode, so that's a bit of a heads up. It's fun. Conspiracy theories generally kind of drive me nuts, but you strike a good balance. Thank you, Katie. Now, she's from Denver, or she's from Colorado, Jason, so she had this to say about the airport. Mm-hmm. As a Denverite, I got to say, I don't think I've heard of the Denver airport being a secret hideaway for some kind of nonsense, nor have I seen whatever artwork / gargoyles mentioned. But the Blue Horse actually has a real name that I, of course, can't recall, she says. Statue Israel is sort of on the way to the airport, more or less. The original sculptor did die. His son had to complete it from it falling on him. But I've never heard anything else about the eyes. It's just art. That's it. Katie, I'm standing by it. It's devil eyes in that horse. Devil eyes. Although I don't run in conspiracy circles, so maybe that's why living here I haven't heard of it. Nor of any of my friends and family. Yeah, well, the lies live right underneath their nose. That's how it works. Just carry on with your sheeple life.
What I like about conspiracies, I'll say this. It just makes life more interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Jason and I don't subscribe to all the conspiracies that we share on our show. It's not, we've made that, and I know she's not saying that we do.
Yeah, no, of course.
We're just sharing the news. We don't subscribe to the news. We're just sharing what people believe. Okay. She goes, I'm admittedly afraid of listening to the mini-sode covering Nirvana's Nevermind. On U2's episode, we did a mini episode within that episode where we give our thoughts on Nirvana's Nevermind. Check it out. She doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to hear it. Because she says, for me, it's actually one of the very few albums where I don't skip very few songs. Wow. But she's glad that we covered it nonetheless. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
All right. She goes on to say, though, Jason, you like this, she especially loved the Guns N' Roses episode.
Of course.
Yeah. As you know, I have a love of the olden times, so this brought me back to the days of MTV, born the same year as me, winky face. I learned a lot. GNR is probably in my top 10 bands, as are Aerosmith and Rolling Stones. Big shocker, I had a huge crush. Should be, yeah. Yeah, she goes, big shocker, I had a huge crush on both Axl and Slash. Super fun blast from the past.
Good.
P.S. She says the ultimate musical artist, Mr. Tupac Shakur, also not a fan of anti-naughty lyric crusaders like Tipper Gore and Dolores Tucker. So yeah, she's a huge Tupac Shakur fan. I wouldn't mind doing a Tupac episode. The problem is I don't have any knowledge about him. He's a huge artist, but it'd be hard to speak to any.
Well, speaking of conspiracy theories.
Interesting. I think we did mention him already. Check out our Dead Celebrity Conspiracy Theory episode. We did talk about that, yeah. P.P.S. She says, speaking of musical genius and masterpieces at a young age, that's right, you guessed it, I'm going to bring up Tupac again. He died at 25. He was also a perfectionist and recorded an immense amount that he didn't think was good enough to release. So there's about 7 posthumous albums out there. That is all. Happy New Year and keep it up, Katie, Guile, and Kirkin. So thank you, Katie. So guys, send us an email like Katie. Be a Katie. Don't be a Karen. Be a Katie. Send us an email and let us know why we're a great show. That's a perfect email stating of why we're a great show.
Very nice feedback. Appreciate hearing that.
And it also indicates in that email how many different types of episodes we do. We do have a little bit something for everyone. And even if you're not a fan of the topic that we're bringing up, I think we do. The goal is that you might learn something and have some fun with the topic. So, all right, there you go. Then I'll edit it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that was a good email.
Thanks for the reminder. All right, thanks, guys. Thanks for hanging out. And Jay, enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to everyone later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Gamma Gator Productions.